How do you feel here? Do you want to continue this marriage?
No.
And Emem?
I would definitely love a divorce. I wanted to write a letter on the ending of this.
Hey guys, welcome to Little Blackbird 91. Listen, we're talking to you guys about Married at First Sight, Emem and Akechi. I want to be very honest. I think the smoke that is needed is for the experts. I think the way that the experts have handled the situation has bemused me. I mean, we just spent the last episode talking about David and Madison, and we went into replays of what Madison has said in her confessions in terms of what she wanted for her partner, because we wanted to make a score point for David as to why she had chosen David. I felt it was a cheap shot. I felt it was nasty. And I thought it was tacky by Pastor Cal to do so. But you're willing to put that pettiness in that space. But when it comes to Akechi and Emem, I'm not seeing that same energy, Pastor Cal. I'm not seeing the same energy, experts. I mean, listen, let me be honest. I think Dr. Pia did a little bit of holding accountable because she called out Akechi once or twice in her behavior, right? In that space, right? And I'll show you a clip of that actually right here.
To advance.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
To sit next to your wife?
I'm choosing to have a seat.
What's with the attitude?
I don't have an attitude. I'm just tired. Very tired.
Yeah, so she called him out about the attitude. But on this end episode, because Emem actually ended up writing a letter, and I really believe that was because of the fact that she had taken so many hits. Now, I'm a person that says all about accountability, and I will do a separate video for Emem, because I do think there's accountability there. And when I say accountability, what I really mean by that is these shows are purposely built to put you in situations that you don't like. They choose people, for some people, the person who is not going to make it an easy ride for you. But there is lessons that that person has to learn in order to be a better partner for the next future partner. We know Emem's already engaged. I think she might even be married. So shout out to her. Fantastic. It's always lessons that we can learn. But specifically, we're dealing with Akechi and the experts on this particular video. I felt like it was a lack of covering for Emem. I felt like there was a lack of protection for Emem. I felt like the experts didn't help provide the validation that she would need and the justification of her emotions, right? They didn't allow her to fully express maybe the range of thoughts and opinions that may needed to have been expressed in order to get her points across. Now, I do believe that's a personal thing. I think that's on her as well, because you need to be outspoken and speak for yourself. But I think she needed help. I think the experts could have done a better job of giving her help. And every season, we are on the same thing. I feel like the experts need to push. If they're going to say that they're not going to be hands-on, I feel like the experts should be pushing to teach and to coach an individual to develop their voice so that they are not silent in these moments. Otherwise, there is a part of them that becomes complicit, right? Because you saying that you match-made them together. You're the one that said that you watched their profiles. You saw what they were like. Right? And you also have access to them, so you can actually influence what's going on in front of you. I mean, like I said before, you had the temerity and the audacity, the audaciousness, the boldness, okay? The bodaciousness to call out David and replay and tell him that this white woman don't want no black man. You had the temerity to do so. So where's that energy that we need it for our fellow black sister Emem here? Now, let me not make it a black sister thing, but there is a black sister thing here, right? So for me personally, I'm looking at it and going, we needed that energy in terms of covering Emem in this particular show. But listen, well, let's get deeper into this, okay? If you haven't watched Married at First Sight, that's unfortunate. But hey, this season has been so filled with contentious points between Akechi and Emem. Mainly Akechi being the aggravator of Emem and then trying to blame her and then rewrite history. I mean, at one point he came into the mansion on a getaway, which he didn't want to go to, and brought a one-page divorce letter, which had several pages to it, but you didn't put the one page. And it wasn't even a signing page. And he intentionally tried to aggravate her to actually annoy her. Right? In fact, they asked him the question.
You come to the retreat with some kind of document of divorce, and then when everyone's at dinner, you announce it. Why did you do it that way? Help me understand that.
And he doesn't even give us a really suitable answer. Well, I mean, Emem kind of interrupts him, and I wish they would have allowed him to actually fully flesh out his answer. But the reality of the situation is, again, they were asking questions to find out what was going on. But again, we're not doing any accountability pieces here. We're just kind of saying, why are we doing it? Which is fair. I mean, then you got to then roll out that same thing for Madison and for David. Then ask them why. But you're so angry about the adultery, which I agree. Adultery should not be happening. By the way, I don't agree with it, or not one bit. I'm saying to you, let's keep the smoke equal, because this is somebody's mental health that was suffering for the whole of the last few weeks, right? But we don't hold them that same smoke. Okay.
He wanted to embarrass me.
I had no intention of coming there to embarrass you. Again, that was not my intention. I apologize for that.
I think it's bull.
That's what's up.
Okay.
I think it is a burning bag of dog.
The reality of the situation is the experts did not actually address the power imbalance that was happening between Emem and Ikechi, right? When Ikechi decided to be withdrawn and be an avoidant and avoid Emem and, create distance between the two of them, he'll come and sit in a conversation and sit at a distance. He'd be silent at certain points, then defend himself at some really weird points, try to advocate himself in front of the not only the experts, but friends as well. And he was called out by Alan, right, in the way that he behaved. But again, where were the experts? Where were the experts calling him out, per se? Like I said, we had a moment with Dr. Pia where she kind of said it to him, like, don't catch an attitude, right? But where's that energy where he's lying? Where's that energy that we had for David and Michelle's situation, where we're saying that you're lying, go and call his cousin? Where is the energy to say, listen, what's going on with you? Right? Fix up. Where's the energy to say, listen, what you're doing is you are destroying this marriage and you're destroying the person in the marriage? Where is that energy? It was none to be found. We were trying to understand him, which is fine. I'm a person that likes to understand people. You know me on this channel, I'm going to understand somebody. They got some dark arts and we're going to understand it. But then you can't be saying you want to absolutely destroy David and Madison and then leave Ikechi when Ikechi deserves all the smoke from the beginning of the season. He's been that way. And then he got off lightly. You know what I'm saying to you? He got off lightly. I was like, wait, so hold on, we just gonna let him go? Right? Number two, it's never a safe environment for Emem, because if you're getting called an arsehole, if you're being told that, you're a sexual predator, if you're being called aggressive, you're being called all these terms and these words, we've got two choices. Investigate Emem, or we have to look at the fact that Ikechi might not be telling the truth. And if he's not telling the truth about the situation, we've got to investigate Ikechi to see what's really going on. Because we can't allow somebody to be saying these very detrimental labelings of somebody else. It's not right. And we're allowing it to happen. And the experts and experts again, because they're not providing that firewall, they're not providing that protection. Emem's left to herself and her own devices to defend herself, right? Okay, and so that relationship now no longer becomes a place of safety. She can't really be vulnerable. She can't really be open. She can't really be her true, authentic self, because in that space, she will be hurt. Right? She'll be hurt. Let me just show you a little clip of this. Remember this.
You have to go and put a big stick in your hand and hit the bear over the head. If you keep hitting me upside the head.
Now, this was over the back of her Arsenal question about vows. And that's where the arsehole comment came from, because she asked him about vows. Like, so we can't just downplay the fact that he was absolutely heinous. Now, I think this is obviously an indication of people that when they don't find someone attractive, they go off the rails. But again, the insults were way too many. Now, again, once more I say this, I think her letter wasn't that bad. If I'm honest with you, I wouldn't have cared even if it was bad, because the catchy is a catchy. And like I said with the David and Madison situation with Michelle, no one's going to really care. If you do someone dirty, people are not going to back you, even if they do you wrong. It's just life, perceptional, right? But what he did, the level of gravity of insults, hurt, pain, mental anguish that she would have suffered being in this relationship of torment, would have been painful, right? Would have been painful. So she had to defend herself because the system that was Married at First Sight didn't protect her. She had to defend herself because in reality, she had no one there to really validate her experiences and really understand her, and then really be able to tackle the issues that they're actually going through. So, look, I'll be honest with you, the letter was her power move. The letter was her way of actually as well kind of letting her voice be heard. Her letter was obviously a shot at Akechi, and it was her way of obviously equalizing at the table. Now, let me be honest with you, it was shady. It was shady. I'm not gonna lie to you, it was shady, but again, like I said, I don't care. Because at the end of the day, when you've been hurting someone over and over and over again, they are going to respond. And when they respond, it's going to be very difficult to police how they respond. Now, is it right? Is it wrong? Like, listen, in the court of law, it's going to be wrong. But as a general principle, we understand the justification of why she retaliated the way she did. Morally, I'm not going to complain, right? And so these common relationship patterns where we saw him withdrawing, him exploding, and with him, failing to communicate, with him insulting her, with him actually downing her, right, at every chance that he kind of got, then I understand why she would have retaliated with a letter. But like I said, it would have never got here had the experts had a temerity that they had with David and Marison and had it here, right? Now, number one, let me say this. If you have to defend yourself constantly in a relationship, it's not a safe relationship. If you're constantly having to explain yourself, to defend yourself, to try and, to soften a blow, to try and say something so it lands correctly. And when I say correctly, I'm not talking about if you're a rude ass person. I'm talking about if you have to always watch what you say in a situation, then that relationship is not safe. Yeah? When you're having conflict, but it's like a warfare, like there are bombs being loaded every single time, it's going to be a toxic environment for both people. And by the way, if you're in a toxic environment, you can catch the toxicity. So like, it's not even that you're even free. Even if you finish it and get out of it, you can catch the toxicity. I was watching Married at First Sight Australia, and as I was watching the Australia version, I was watching Morena. Morena had been in an extensively abusive relationship, but then brought on that lack of awareness in the moments where she was being very mean to her own new partner who wasn't being mean to her. So sometimes there's residue that is left over from the last relationship. So there is damage that's get done, right? So the experts should have held, I would say, Akechi far more accountable in the situation, right? We're talking about, it's looking a bit toxic. Well, then address the toxicity and where it's coming from, the source. Because someone else is responding to that toxicity and they are becoming toxic. Yes, I believe that Emem will end up becoming a toxic. But let's address the source of the toxicity, which was Ike. Okay? Too many times he was allowed to get away with it. Too many times was he allowed to do what he was doing. Right? So, for me, I'm glad this relationship is over. I'm glad the marriage is over. Right? We are glad that, Emem got to say what she needs to say. Right? What I would say is this. Right? In future, we need Emem to speak up earlier. Look, when disrespect starts, you shut it down immediately. It's something I've learned. When disrespect starts, we shut it down from the very jump. You let someone know that, listen, I don't really do those kind of things. Hey, listen, no, I hear what you're saying, but I don't do those kind of things. Right? You got to let someone know, listen, there's a level that you operate at, and you're unwilling to operate with them on that level. And because Akechi kind of got away with it a few times, because Emem was wanting to make the marriage work without really first understanding how to be assertive and defend herself, it left the room open. Now, am I blaming her? No, I'm saying that there's also a lesson to learn from him. Learn to be assertive. Learn to be able to defend yourself by being assertively forward progressing in a place where if someone says something, you can say, I don't like that. That's not going to work for me. And if you continue, this is where we're not going to actually be able to work together, right? That's okay. But you're allowed to defend yourself. You're allowed to be able to let the person know this is what you're willing to accept and what you're willing not to accept. Because if you have to go into if he's throwing insults and then we have to go into you're embarrassing and I don't wish you well, you're now going into a place that you don't want to really go into. Why do we ever want someone to go into a place where they're going to say, I don't wish somebody well, right? We don't want you to be in that space. But I understand why she was in that space. I understand why she had to level those kind of thoughts at him. She had suffered so much. So I get it. Right? But we don't want people to be in that space. So, look, maybe you agree or disagree. Let me know down below in the comment section what your thoughts are. But for me personally, yeah, I can need him far more smoke. Far more. Because the levels of behavior that he issued were outrageous. I think they were detrimental. Mentally, physically, emotionally. Anyway, guys, I'm going to love you and leave you. And let me know what your thoughts are down below in the comment section. Do you agree with what I'm saying? Maybe you disagree. Let me know what you are thinking in that space. But, yeah, let me leave it on this point.
He wanted to embarrass me.
I had no intention of coming there to embarrass you. Again, that was not my intention. I apologize for that.
I think it's bull.
That's what's up.
Okay.